Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today in a new series of videos I'm happy to present to you Careless, which is a super small and cute game by Jason Anarchy and was illustrated by Cassandra Kaling. Two things before we're getting started. First of all, this is a review copy that was sent by the designer, and second of all, be warned because this game is pretty addictive. Now you already know this channel and you know what there is behind me, and you know that most of the time I'm leaning towards the heavier games, but this is a pretty much new territory for me. So Careless is going to launch online and on stores next Tuesday, which is October 3rd, so feel free to check it out. Ready to see what's going on there? Let's go to setup. Alright guys, so the first thing that we want to do is to take the main deck of cards and give it a good shuffle. Then we will place randomly 12 cards on the table in a hex grid of 4 by 3. The rest of the cards we can put next to the playing area. Then we will take the 3 coffee cards and put them also at the playing area alongside with the turn order. And we're going to put the turn marker on round number 1. Also we're going to take the coffee marker and put it next to the coffee cards. Now this is going to be the planning of our day that is consisted by chore cards, which are the red ones, and the care cards, which are the green ones. Now as you can see at the bottom of each card we have a certain time. Our goal is to make sure that with these cards or the ones that we will draw from the main deck, we'll make sure that we have an organized day. And that means that we will start from noon, which is the top left corner of our agenda, and going left to right, top to bottom, all the way to 11 p.m. So as we can see right now, neither of the cards is in its right location. At the beginning of each one of our turns, we will draw 2 cards from the main deck, and then we will need to take a decision. Either we're going to replace one of the cards in our hands with one of the cards in our agenda, or we will do something that is called sipping our coffee. If we decided to go with the first option, we will take a card, let's say that we will take the 4 o'clock, and we'll put it already in the position of the 4 o'clock. So if this is noon, this is 1 o'clock, 2, 3, and this is 4. So we will take this card and swap it with this one. The other 2 cards that we obviously didn't use, we're going to put in a discard pile right next to the draw deck. So moving on to our second turn, again we're going to take 2 cards, and let's now concentrate on the second option that we have, and that is sipping our coffee. If we decided to sip our coffee, we can take these 2 cards that we have now in our hand and already put them in the discard pile. Now we can take the coffee marker and put it on one of the border cards that we have right now on the table. That means that we cannot choose these 2 cards that are in the middle. If we're going to put the coffee marker on a card that has one of the coffee icons, we're going to resolve the bonus that that specific coffee is going to give us, and then we're going to flip the coffee card that we just used. In this case that we have right over here, we decided to use the Pep Coffee. And the Pep Coffee power says that in the next turn, we'll be able to draw 3 cards and replace any number of them with the cards that we have already on the agenda. So let's see how it works. Now we're going to go to turn 3. We're going to take 3 cards and let's see what we have over here. So we have 9, noon, and 10. So noon, for example, we can replace over here. That's the first card. Then we're going to take 10 and put it right over here. And we'll take number 9, it means 9 o'clock, and we'll swap it over with this card. So with one turn, we actually managed to place 3 cards in the right location. And of course, don't forget that once you have placed your coffee token on a specific coffee and you activated it, you need to turn that coffee card to the other side. At a later turn, when we would like to sip the coffee again, so let's say that right now we're on turn 4 and we draw these 2 cards and we want to sip our coffee, we'll be able to move the coffee token to one adjacent card. That means on the left, on the right, to the bottom, or to the top if it's in another location. Now, if we've moved the coffee to an adjacent card and it has another coffee icon, then we'll be able to use that coffee power. In this case, the Zen coffee, it means that we'll be able to swap between 2 cards 2 times. For example, I will be able to make this change and also this one. So now at least we have 2 more cards that are in their right location. In the next turn, we can see over here at turn number 5 and on turn number 9, we have something that is called refill. And that means that we'll be able to take one of the coffee cards that we've used and do a refill for it. And that means that we can just flip it on the other side and use it again. So let's cover the last 2 icons that we have over here. One of them is the cat icon. So if you've decided to move the coffee token into a card that has the cat icon, because this cat is a jerk, he will just knock the coffee out of the table. And that means that the next time that you will decide to sip the coffee, you will be able to place it again at any one of the border cards. And the last coffee icon that right now is not on the table is actually the bop coffee. Now, because our cat hates music, every time that we will sip from the bop coffee, we'll be able to take up to any number of cards with the cat icon, take them out to the discard pile, and actually fill those gaps with other cards that we will draw from the deck. In this case, we're going to draw 4 cards and we'll be able to place them back. So in our case, 11 right now can come over here, and 3 over here. 2 o'clock we will not be able to put in a good place, and also 6 o'clock. So it doesn't really matter. So slowly you can see that we're starting to arrange the cards in the right location. This is noon, 3 o'clock, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11. At the end of the 12th round, we need to make sure that we have as many cards as possible in the right location. For every card that is in the right location, that means that the hour that is on the card is actually in the position of that hour, we will receive 1 point. So that means that maximum we can have 12 points. But we will receive 1 extra point if we manage to balance our day by having an equal amount of green cards and red cards. That means 6 green cards and 6 red cards. So a perfect score will be 13 points. One last thing to add, if at some situation we're going to activate one of the coffees, and by activating one of the coffees we're going to trigger another coffee, so in this case we can swap 2 times 2 cards, right? So let's say that I'm going to swap these 2 cards right here, and now you can see that I'm actually having the coffee token on another coffee card that has another coffee icon. Then we're going to trigger that coffee as well, having a pretty cool combination. When we want to play at 2 players, we're going to deal 12 cards to each player, and they're going to share their coffees. The player who's going to start is the player with the lowest score that is right now in their day. That means the lowest amount of cards that are in their right location. For example, the player on the right, we can see that he has this card noon, 3 o'clock, and also 6 o'clock in the right location. So their score right now is 3. The player on the left is not so lucky, and neither of his cards is in the right location. And that means that the player on the left is going to start. That's going to continue like this until turn 7, and starting turn 7, the other player is going to start throughout the rest of the game. The differences here is that these coffees are now shared for both of the players. And if, for example, this player decided to use this coffee, so he's going to turn it to the other side. If the player on the right would like to sip coffee, he's just going to take it from the other player and is going to put it again on one of the border cards on his side of the table. It's important to say that because these coffees are shared, when we're going to reach to turn 5 and to turn 9, we're not going to refill only one of these cups, we're going to refill all the 3 coffees. If at some point you have ran out of cards in the draw deck, just take all the cards from the discard pile, shuffle them, and recreate another draw deck. The player at the end of the 12th round with the highest score obviously is going to win the game. And if you have a tie, then they suggest that you'll just go do some homework together, figure it out, and redo another game. The last thing that you can do for the 2-player version or for the solo version is 2 variants. One of them is easy mode, the other one is hard mode. At the easy mode, you're going to draw 3 cards instead of the normal 2, and then you're going to choose one that you would like to use, discarding the others. If you want the hard mode, in order to win, the care and the chore cards, that means the green and the red cards, must alternate every other type in your day. That means one red, one green, one red, one green, or the other way around, from noon all the way to 11 p.m.